Hi guys, my name is Jeff Hopkins, and today I want to go over how I set up Reason to interact with Woodwind controllers. Today I'm using my custom Woodwind controller, but you can use anything out there from an UI to one of the new EVIs and follow along. I'll try to make this as controller friendly as possible depending on what you have. And if you've never used Reason before, hopefully this opens your eyes on what you can do with it. So let me give you a quick demonstration of a patch that I've already made, and we can go from there. This is a simple analog patch that I made that has a lot of control features, but in its essence is very simple. Let me give you a demo. Alright, that sounds pretty cool. So let me walk you through what's actually going on here real fast. First of all, if you've never been in Reason, it's very modular, as in you can turn it around and patch things however the heck you want. It makes things really easy to get really complicated really fast, and you can get stuck in synth land. So let me try and just show you an overview of how you can do something really easy. Okay, so everything in Reason, like I said, you can manually patch, but in this core, I'm running Europa, which is a synthesizer, and it's a waveform synthesizer. So I can see here I'm running a saw triangle here, and well, Europa in general. How about this? Europa has 3 engines, all right, and each one you can assign its own waveform, and you can modify it and put it through a filter, unison, mix it together, filter it, put it through an ADSR amplifier, and then come down here to a modulation matrix and have a bunch of effects that go through it. So you can do a real lot of things with Europa. But the reason that I like it, Europa specifically for Woodwind controllers, is this modulation matrix down here. And I'm using it really simple right now. I have 3 CV inputs, and I'm controlling amplifier gain, waveform shape, and the actual frequency of the filter. And that's how I'm getting the whole sound. Up here I have, like I said, just a bunch of CV routing stuff that just make the sound a little bit better. And down here I have some distortion and a reverb unit. Nothing special. But again, it sounds really decent. I really enjoy it. So I'm going to walk you through actually how to create your own patch. Not as complicated as this, but one that works very well. So I come over here and I've actually created a brand new combinator, which is just something you can put a bunch of devices in. Okay, and all I'm going to do right now is create one instrument, which will be the Reason Europa. All right, let me reset it so it's just a bare bones patch. All right. So again, you have 3 engines that have a waveform, a filter, a unison. They all 3 get mixed together, go through another filter, go through an amplifier, and you have a bunch of envelopes and LFOs and filtering stuff you can do down here. But the signal flow is basically right through it. So with just a simple sine wave in there and no breath response or anything, I'm just going to play you something real fast. Yep, sounds tacky. All right, what can we do about it? Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is change the waveform, right? So right now I'm on basic analog, and if I change the shape around, I can kind of change it to different things, but what I really enjoy for Woodwind controllers in particular is the saw triangle, all right? So now if we keep it here like this and I play, you automatically get this. Really buzzy, again, no breath response or anything crazy with the filtering going on, but you can I like that because it adds that extra attribute. So what we're going to do now is add breath control. So I just cleared my modulation matrix down here. I go ahead and select performance and breath, and I want to go into amplifier gain. Okay, and amplifier gain is right here. So I assign breath to amplifier gain, and I turn my amount up, so it's sending all my breath into amplifier gain. But if I send it in now, you can tell gain is already turned up 3/4 of the way, and I won't get a lot of breath response. So I'm going to turn that down almost all the way. So now as I play, you will be able to actually hear the amplifier respond to breath. All right, well, that sounds like crap. And you can tell there's a little bit of stepping on quick breath responses. So let me just real quick do a couple fast breath responses. All right. I'm not tonguing hard there. I'm just trying to give you rapid breath movements, and it's getting really clicky. And so how can I solve that? Well, right now I'm going through an ADSR envelope, and I really don't want that. So I'm going to turn the A, the D all the way down, the sustain all the way up, and the release all the way down. So now all I'm getting is just raw waveform on or off and controlled by the breath. All right, that helps a little bit, but I'm still going to get that steppiness. And that steppiness is going to be solved by adding one of the best things and reason for breath control, which is the EXP1 expression processor. I'm going to add 3 of them in here real fast. And the reason I'm adding 3 is I'm going to have 1 for breath. I'm going to select it here, breath. I'm going to have 1 for the modulation wheel and 1 for expression. Those are the 3 main CC channels I use on my controller. They're all unidirectional, and I'll show you now. I have different responses here depending on what I do with my controller. So on my controller, I have breath, which you can see here in the breath response. All right. I have modulation, which is right here, which is all I'm doing is raising and lowering the angle of my instrument. And the expression, I have on instrument roll, so I can change roll here and get expression to come in. Now you can do all these with a foot pedal or bite sensor or different thumb controllers, you know, whatever your controller has access to. These are just the ones I have. So I have these all 3 going in here now. So now I'm going to turn my rack around by pressing the tab key. And you can see here, CV modulation Europa has 4 CV inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and take my output of my breath, my modulation wheel, and my expression, and put it into the CV modulation inputs there. Now why I like EXP1 and because it's so nice is that I can actually smooth out responses, change the curve, do attack and decay smoothing, and do just regular gain. It helps so much in getting the response you want out of your controller without having to dive crazy into the settings on your controller itself. So I was getting that steppiness, and that was because I was doing rapid changes and breath just doesn't respond very well. So essentially what I'm going to do is add a capacitor to the CV line and smooth out my breath. And so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add a little bit, a little tiny bit of attack, little tiny bit of decay. And what that's going to do is just really smooth out my breath response. So now as I play, it's still super steppy, and that's because I'm taking the raw breath source. So instead of breath here, I'm going to go down to CV inputs and take in CV1, which again is this breath right here. So now as I play, it's not steppy anymore, and I still have good response. All right, but it's just a little more smoothed out. So now it still doesn't sound really good. It's just a raw sawtooth. So what I'm going to do now is play with the filter. So the filter is right here, and if I turn the filter down all the way, you still don't hear anything, but I have to activate the filter. So now engine 1 is coming through its top section here, coming into the mixer, which is right here, and I turn on the filter effect onto there for engine 1. And with it turned all the way down, you can't even hear it. But it sounds really good when I manually adjust it. So what I'm going to do is set the frequency to about 150 hertz. And down here on the modulation wheel again, I'm taking in CV1, I'm putting it to amp gain, and now I have a second destination which I'm going to put, which is going to be the filter frequency. I'm going to set that to, I'm going to set it to 100% for right now too. All right, so now as I play, it's going to add breath onto this frequency knob right here too. Wow, that sounds a whole lot better already. Now, it does kind of sound, I don't know, kind of weird in between key transitions. So what I'm going to do is actually change the key mode from poly to legato and change it from portamento down to auto. And if I keep the portamento time where it's at right now, it sounds real smooth. But we don't want it like that. We want something a little better. So I'm going to set it to like 6%. That sounds a lot better. All right. So now we're like 80% there already. So what are we going to do now? We're going to turn on reverb. Reverb down here is down in the effects section. I'm going to turn it on, change the amount down a little bit. And now we get sound like this. Wow, that sounds pretty dang good actually. So I want to be able to add modulation wheel into this somehow. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and pick CV2 and pick 100%. And we're also going to go to the filter frequency. So now what that allows for me to do is as I'm playing, I can raise or lower the angle of my instrument, and it adds more filter or less filter depending on that in combination with breath. So I'm going to play you a passage with the instrument down low and it slowly move it higher for you so you can kind of hear what's happening. Really allows like passages to come alive by applying that to, for me, modulation to instrument angle. It's really intuitively easy. So already I'm just sounding, this instrument right here is super nice, and all I really have is one EXP1 controller going into here and a sawtooth with some amp gain and some filter frequency, and that right there is just a really nice instrument already. Why I use 3 of these is so I can actually affect the curve and everything like that on this, right? So if I really want on modulation, for instance, a really long reaction time, I can turn, you know, my attack and decay really high up. And now as you can see, as I move it, it doesn't change so rapidly. And the reason I like that is because I play vibrato through my IMU on board. So as I shake the instrument, it'll add my vibrato via pitch into the pitch bend. But if I have my modulation wheel turned up super high, I obviously get a little bit of filter response from the vibrato too, which is really nice sometimes, but other times I don't want that. So that's why I use it on modulation wheel. Now my other thing I have is expression down there, and expression is my instrument angle, so as I roll, I get it. So again, I kind of like to smooth that out just because it adds good, nice response to it. All right, so now what we're going to do for that one is go over here and go CV3. And I'm going to go, let's say, 45% into engine 1 pitch. All right, so what that's going to do is as I roll, it'll actually add it to the oscillator pitch. All right, well, that can be kind of fun if you want, right? But it adds, you know, it shows you what you can actually do with this. So instead of having that here, though, what I'm actually going to do is introduce you into envelopes. All right, and this is an envelope, and as you play, it'll, you know, play your envelope. If you don't know what envelopes are, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get into that now, but it should be fairly intuitive as we go here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick envelope 1 here, and I'm going to put that onto engine 1 pitch, just like my expression controller was. So now, as this plays, it'll change my pitch depending on what I do there, right? So I'm going to have it key triggered. Oops. Key trigger to start every time I play a new note. So now as I play, and you can add things in like sustain, so it once it only plays once, you can sustain that back here to the end. So you can do a lot of cool things with that. But what I actually do is use this third column over here, which is scale. So I'm going to scale this by CV3. So basically what that allows me to do is as I introduce more modulation through CV3, it'll affect this envelope's ability to affect pitch. So basically it's a VCA, right? So what we're going to do here is change my envelope to something a little more interesting. Let's go here, just right here. And instead of having a sustain, we're going to go ahead and loop, and we're going to turn the speed up a little bit. And we get something like this. Well, that's kind of cool. You know, and there's really a lot of possibilities you can do with envelopes. And we can even go bipolar, so it's not just raising, it goes raising and lowering. Oh, you want to go faster now? Yeah, sure. So it really allows a lot of different things you can do. So again, this is just a real basic example of what you can do with Europa. I'm not doing anything crazy with this one. It just shows you, I set up a quick instrument for you guys using sawtooth and some filtering. Really where some really nice things come in is the spectral filter and the harmonic section and unison. Let me turn unison on for you. This unison sounds really good. You know, it's just, you can get stuck in, like I said, stuck in synthland is what I call it, and it's just super fun. But again, let me bring it back to this patch real fast for you guys. This is the one I play most of the time. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and maybe I'll do more videos like this. I don't know. This is a experiment for you guys. So thank you much, and I'll talk to you guys later.